especially when on Halloween yesterday was the NFL trade deadline. We as fans, we see the NBA, we see Major League Baseball and all the fun those fan bases get to have on the trade deadline day. And we want that, right? We want that for our NFL fan bases, and we just don't get it. It's almost a big nothing burger every year. And this year, a little bit more the same, although we did have some surprising movement, maybe not surprising movement, but some trades. And we're going to go through these. We'll talk more about some, less about others, but we're just going to go in order as they came in. Seattle acquires defensive lineman Leonard Williams from the Giants. The Giants get a 2024 second round pick and a 2025 fifth round pick. They were able to get that second round pick because they basically agreed to eat almost the entirety of Leonard Williams' $10 million contract that he was owed for the balance of this year. So that's how they were able to get the second. But if a guy's not in your future plans and you're able to get a premium pick like that in the second round, which probably be looking like a late second round pick at the rate Seattle's going.
I think it's a good move for Seattle. It was their biggest hole. I mean, we were mocking defensive linemen to them last year. They didn't even take one. So I think it's a good move. And for the Giants, you're not going anywhere this year. Eat the money. So what? And get the pick. I mean, just try to rebuild this thing.
Another defensive lineman on the move. Atlanta, because Grady Jarrett tore his ACL, needed some new guys in. They get Kentavious Street over from Philadelphia. They also get a 2025 seventh. Philadelphia picks up a 24 sixth.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
All right. So let's talk about the big trades here. We're basically the Washington Commanders resetting the defense here. Former number 2 overall pick Chase Young gets traded to San Francisco, who now have bookend Buckeye pass rushers now with Young and Nick Bosa. Washington gets the 49ers comp third round pick, which I believe you said should math out at around pick 100.
Yeah, because it was going to be it's the one they got for the coaching and GM hires. So that'll be the last comp pick of the third round, right now projected to be pick 100, the final pick of day 2.
What are your thoughts on Chase Young getting moved?
I'm fine with it. I don't think the Washington Commanders are winning anything this year. They probably weren't re-signing him. So give me a pick, right? To me, that's what you should do. If you're not going to sign the guy, get the pick and move on. If you were going to sign him, then it's probably not the best value. But Chase Young, he was a number 2 overall pick. He hasn't played like it. Like this year is the first year he's playing like it. He's been hurt. He's been ineffective. So I don't think he was worth much more than a third as it was on the last year of contract.
And essentially, if you think about it like this, if you're not going to re-sign him and Chase Young gets a big contract in this offseason, which he probably will, then you're going to get a third round comp pick in 2025. So you're basically getting a year's advance on that third round comp pick if you think of it like that.
Right. Though, if you sign some guys that could go away,
Right.
So, but yeah, but like you said, I think you're guaranteeing yourself that comp pick. So I don't mind them taking, pick 100 instead of the 49ers third rounder with a couple picks higher. Like, who cares?
I think maybe the surprise of this was that they got more compensation or higher compensation for trading defensive end Montez Sweat, who was a second round pick coming out of Mississippi State in the same draft class as Chase Young, correct? So also on an expiring contract, but they move him to Chicago for the Bears' second round pick. It will be the Bears' second round pick, not somebody else's. So this is going to end up being a pick in between 33 and 40, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think so, right? We saw the Chase Claypool deal last year kind of blow up in the Bears' face. This can't go worse than that. I get why Montez Sweat's worth more. I mean, he's been better. He's been a better player. He's been healthier. A high second versus a late third is a pretty big difference. But if Washington was asking for a second round pick, a second's a second, right? Chicago's second might be worth the same to them as the Jaguars' second round pick. It doesn't matter where it is. We're charging the second, you want them or not. I just think it's weird the Bears have traded the high second round pick 2 years in a row, but they have a ton of cap space. They're gonna have the most cap space next year. They probably would want to sign Sweat anyway, so you're kind of guaranteeing yourself to
I would anticipate they have a deal done with him long before free agency starts.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be in the next week or two.
Two trades we'll go through quickly because there's not a whole lot to add. Minnesota gets a 2024 sixth round pick from Jacksonville in exchange for guard Ezra Cleveland. Very athletic coming out of Boise State when he played. Some good depth there for Jacksonville. And Detroit picks up Donovan Peoples-Jones, wide receiver from the Browns, in exchange for a 2025 sixth round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are fine. I like the Ezra Cleveland move for Jacksonville. I think he could start for them. So that
Buffalo picks up cornerback Rasul Douglas and a 2024 fifth round pick in exchange to Green Bay getting a 2024 third round pick. So we're swapping a 3 and a 5 here for Rasul Douglas.
I love that for Buffalo. I mean, I think it's their biggest need addressed. A guy that's pretty solid. Same deal. Green Bay. Are you winning anything while Rasul Douglas is under contract? Probably not.
And finally, in an interesting quarterback move, the second time he's been traded in the calendar year. Is that a record?
No, there's no way. Someone had to have happened before.
I'm sure it has. But Josh Dobbs on the move again after being traded from Cleveland to Arizona before the season started. Josh Dobbs is now being traded from Arizona to the Minnesota Vikings, who lost Kirk Cousins this week to a torn Achilles. They will do a pick swap late in this draft, a sixth, and they're going to swap a sixth and a seventh, and Josh Dobbs on the move to Minnesota.
Yeah, and Jonathan Gannon kind of gave this one away when he announced Josh Dobbs the starter. Then the next day was like, it's going to be Clayton Tune or Kyler Murray. Just kidding. The reason you're changing that is if Josh Dobbs is getting traded, and he was. I think it's a dumb move for the Vikings. Like it's super cheap, right? You're not winning the Super Bowl with Josh Dobbs. You're not winning the division with Josh Dobbs. You might win an extra game or two and have a worse draft pick. Kevin O'Connell's not getting fired no matter what. Like I don't. Quessie's not getting fired. Why? Just play Jaron Hall and lose. But that's my draft side talking, I guess.
Yeah. Tank for the quarterback that you were going to try to replace Kirk Cousins with anyway. To me, this just accelerated the process.
Yeah. I almost feel like the injury to Kirk Cousins makes it more likely they re-sign Kirk Cousins now, right? Because I think they're going to win 6-7 games and not be able to draft a quarterback, and maybe they say bring him back.
He's better than what we're going to get. I'm with you.
Yeah.